Peeps from the Southeast
Conference.
And right now we're going to break down Missouri, Purdue, and then Auburn and Mercer and preview that game.
Because Missouri's got Auburn this week. Just a little breakdown. We're going to start out with Missouri because that one's going to hurt some fans.
Yeah.
I mean, the stadium was basically empty at halftime. They did not play a good game. They fired their defensive coordinator in the middle of last week, the week before this game. And, I mean, that I don't know if that showed or if their defense is just that bad.
But the offense is bad, too.
Well, yeah, and see, everybody thought their first game of the year, Missouri State against Missouri, they put up probably the most total offense of any team in the country will put up this year. I think it was like close to 900 yards, total yards. Wide receiver core was deep. Drew Lock was hot that game. But that just shows you.
We take a look at Missouri State, and they're getting blown out by North Dakota, and that's just not the cream of the crop in the FCS, really.
Yeah, it's not the cream of the crop, FCS school. But yeah, I mean, just from that game, you thought Missouri had potential to be the most high-powered offense throughout the country. Proven through 3 weeks, the other two games, South Carolina and now Purdue, they just don't have it on the defensive side or the offensive side. What do you think their main problem is?
Where to start? You got to have, in order to defense win championships, that's clear.
Especially in the SEC.
Especially in the SEC.
Yeah.
So your defense, you gotta solve the defensive side of the ball first before you can be successful in general. So I feel like their major concern is defense. If they can sort of figure out the defensive side of the ball, you don't really need an elite offense to win SEC football.
You have to be able to run the ball.
You gotta be able to run the ball, which
They got quality players. I mean, their offensive line is probably one of the biggest in the SEC, and you got Crockett in the backfield as a starting tailback. So I mean, they got potential to be able to run the ball. Why are they not being motivated? Fans, show up and support your team. If you're a fan of a team,
if you live in Missouri, go anywhere near Columbia. Please go.
Please go. Help your team out. Maybe they need support. But just to break down, Missouri versus Purdue, Purdue had 26 first downs during the game. Missouri only had 10. That's going to kill you.
Well,
I mean, you can't sustain a drive. Your defense is going to get worn out. That's not helping the defense that's already battered and worn out and not that great. So you not being able to prolong drives is hurting your defense.
Yes.
And it's not helping your offense.
It's also the time of possession. Purdue had the ball for 43 minutes and 43 seconds.
It's insane, bro.
Missouri's
it's a 60-minute game. It's a 60-minute game.
They controlled the ball for more than half the game. That's like
that's 2/3 of the game.
When you're sitting there watching the game, you saw Purdue had the ball for pretty much more than half the game. That's ridiculous.
I mean, you go outside, smoke a cigarette, drink a beer, jump in the pool.
Purdue
come back.
the ball.
Purdue still has the ball.
Probably on the same drive too, because they ran the ball 50 times for 205 yards.
I mean, you go sing your favorite song in the shower, scrub a dub dub
in the tub.
Purdue still has the ball.
That's just ridiculous. You can't. Now this falls on the defense too. You gotta be able to create some 3 and outs now.
Yeah, you do.
You can't. But the offense has to.
Missouri's highlight with their receiving core, their running backs, and their quarterback. I mean, he's a solid guy.
Drew Lock.
The offense has to pick it up for the defense. Defense wins championships, but we're just wanting you to win a game right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna.
So your offense has to. The offense is gonna have to win some of the games against Purdue, and then
But how big of a win would that be if they beat Auburn?
That
would turn your that's an opportunity to turn your season around. Right there.
You get your fans back motivated. I think where's the game at? Is it at Missouri?
Yes, in Missouri.
It's at Missouri. You got another game in the zoo. Got another game in the zoo.
Show up and support.
Turnover battle throughout that game. It wasn't bad. They weren't turning the ball over every time. So
something to watch, though.
Something to watch for. Moving on, we're gonna preview the Auburn Mercer game. A little bit closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Mercer, give them credit. I know I was kind of hard on Mercer last week. Told them this is stay in Macon, but man, I mean, they showed up.
They showed up. That was
24 to 10. That's a pretty solid for a program that's only been around for about 3-4 years. So.
Mercer's a new program, new football program.
They're 1-2. I mean, just imagine if they would have won. They would have been 2-1 going in. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's just crazy. But Auburn has to play better.
Auburn has to play better. Big news coming out of Auburn.
Sean White.
Sean White He got arrested after the game, after the Mercer game. He got dismissed from the team.
Which that might help Stidham a little bit. He can play a little bit more relaxed, knowing that Sean White's not going to come back. He's not going to come back.
He's not losing his job.
Yeah,
he knows that he's the guy. He knows he's the guy
Which
of
is
Auburn.
something that every quarterback needs.
He's got solid talent. I mean, he's got the ability.
He's a good running back in Petway.
Yeah.
I'm very high on him. SEC has a bunch of good running backs this year.
I mean, that's just something that usually
You have to
always
do.
happens
You have to
throughout
run
the
the
SEC, but this year in particular, they're deep at the running back. Almost every school
Their
is.
stats looking at their stats look solid. 510 yards, rushed 43 times, got 146. They passed the ball. 32 of 37 passing. That's pretty solid. That's not bad. That's
But
pretty
when you look at this one stat that jumps out to me about Auburn, this is
4.
probably why the game was so close. They had 5 turnovers.
Yeah, 4 of them were fumbles.
4 of them were fumbles.
That's
You got to hold on to the ball. Was that your running back? Your running back probably lost a couple.
Probably.
Of them, the one you're high on.
But I'm still high on them.
You need to put some Gorilla Glue on his hands and send him out. I mean, you can't have 5 turnovers. I mean, Missouri's not a good team, but I mean, you're playing them. They're a little bit more powered than.
I mean, it's an SEC. It's still an SEC school.
It's an SEC school. They got a little bit more power. You can't turn it over 5 times against any SEC program, no matter how low they are.
You won't win.
You're not going to win. That's probably why that game was so close. It was only a 24-10 win for Auburn,
which is not what you expected going into playing Mercer. You thought you can.
They probably went to sleep.
Yeah,
they probably were sleeping on this game.
You expect to beat them down in the first half to where you're sort of coasting in the second half, but it wasn't like that. But
that happened a lot of games this weekend. I'm pretty sure the school just underestimated the opponent. I mean, you coming in, you're like, oh, we're playing Mercer. We ain't even got to practice this week. It's probably in the coaching staff's head too. We ain't got to really practice. We'll just we'll do some technique drills, some tackling drills, and we ain't really going to preview this game. We're not going to prepare for this game. But I mean, you see what happened. It was really close through the first half.
This game is actually a bigger game than probably what the other media is probably. I mean, if Missouri wins, they have an opportunity to turn their season around.
Absolutely.
And if Auburn loses their season, I mean, they didn't look too impressive against Clemson in the first place, and
their
they haven't
defense
looked impressive
their
against
defense.
Mercer. So now we have the question: if Auburn loses, what's Auburn? What's the situation with Gus Malzahn? Do you keep him or do not? So.
Gus Malzahn, it feels like Gus Malzahn's always on the hot seat every year, ever since the national championship run that he had. It feels like every year. You can't repeat that. I mean, until you knock Alabama off, there's not another team that's going to be able to compete and repeat like they have. I think they've won the SEC championship every year except for one since 2010.
Just imagine if Gus Malzahn had Cam Newton if he was the head coach and he had Cam Newton.
Cam Newton's almost 30.
Just imagine.
But
Chiswick had Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And they won the national championship. Just imagine, because Gus Malzahn has a good offense.
Yeah,
his offense is. I mean, it's the most intricate. It's not really. It's simple, but it's really good with all those motions and all the RPOs.
How fast paced it is.
Just imagine if he had Cam Newton.
A couple years ago, it was the fastest paced offense throughout the country. I mean,
it was good.
They were snapping the ball with 25 seconds left on the play clock.
Especially with Nick Marshall as their quarterback.
Nick Marshall is
that's when they were at their best with Gus Malzahn.
Yep.
So something to watch out for. Who do you like?
In this game, I'm gonna go. Even though it's in Mizzou, I'm gonna go with Auburn. I think their defense wasn't really motivated to play Mercer, but you've seen what their defense did against Clemson. And Clemson has a very high-powered offense like Mizzou could have. I just think that's all their defense will hear is, how did you give up 10? How did you let it be so close against Mercer? I think the defense will show up. I think the defense will win the game for Auburn. But that's my take.
Who do you like? I like Auburn just because there's not a lot of question marks on Auburn. Offensively, they sort of have a consistent offense. And I feel like they can go to Missouri and win because Missouri, I don't feel like they.
Until you make some changes, until changes are made at Missouri.
I hate doing this to Missouri.
I know, man. We love every SEC team. We are. How do you SEC it? We love every SEC team, all 14 of them.
It's gonna be an uphill battle for Missouri to even win another game. To win a game in the SEC, it's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough. I think they will win one. And if they turn it around, I think if they win this one, that'd
be momentum.
That's momentum. Fans will show up.
And then you be undefeated in SEC. One loss. They lost the second one.
Yeah, they did.
But one loss, you still win the East with one loss.
Yeah, you can. The East you can win. I think last year they won it with 2 losses.
So there's still hope.
Florida did, but Yeah, that's how we break it down. Who do you think has had the biggest game, or like just a single player who's got to have a big game?
Oh, Drew Lock by far. Drew
Lock
Lock
has
has to show up and control the offense and make good decisions because he's good on his feet and he's good throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So he has to control the game. They have to possess the ball. Then you have to at least you can't do.
You have to manage the
You
game.
can't have 16 minutes again on possession. You're not going to win. I like to see them hit 30. I like to see them control half the game, if not a little bit more. But that's probably a little
They
bit
are
too
up
more to ask
tempo.
for.
They are up tempo
True.
offense. So. But 16
20,
minutes is
at least 20.
yeah.
At
20,
least
I
get
mean,
20.
25.
25. So
25. You know.
if they do that, I feel like they're in a good. If they can have a better time of possession and can get a little bit more first downs than what they did, I feel like it'll be a competitive game. They can stay in it, but their defense got to play. Drew Lock is key with Drew Lock, quarterback.
On the other side, I think key players. It's just not one. It's the whole Auburn backfield. Like their running backs, tailbacks, however they do it, they can control the game, and then it can easily get away from Missouri if they can run the ball consistently, because that is Auburn's thing. Up tempo run, and then just wear you down and beat you out. That's how I think the game will go. But that's our recap and preview for the Auburn-Missouri game.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, like and
Subscribe.
Grux Fight, bam!